Yeah,
KH
now it's
Media
good.
Group, and we're on the Arts and Entertainment channel, and we have Mr. Shawn Edwards on the show today. And this is special. I've been knowing Shawn forever, knew his daddy forever. Uh, he does a lot of reviews for uh, movies, but I think that's what I knew him as. But he does much more than that, and I'm gonna let him talk to you about that. But the thing I have him on the show tonight for is the Sarah Rector story, and she's related to him. And without further ado, welcome, Shawn.
No. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I'm glad you're having me on to talk about Sarah Rector, about her story, her legacy. Because on November the 7th, there's a movie coming out by the title of Sarah's Oil. It's an MGM Amazon project, so it's huge. It's going to be released theatrically for a few weeks. Then it's going to Amazon Prime. But it's basically a story not about her life, but about when she initially became a millionaire because they discovered lots and lots of oil on land that was given to her by the federal government. So it's a great movie. Work with the movie, work with the filmmakers. Had a chance to see it. It's fabulous. MGM Amazon released the trailer yesterday. They unveiled the poster yesterday. It's a beautiful movie poster. The trailer is fantastic, and they did a featurette with some of the family members talking about who Sarah is, what Sarah meant to the family. Yes, I'm related to Sarah. Keep it simple. She's my grandmother's sister on my father's side, so that would make her my great aunt. Never met her, never knew her. She was long gone before I was born, but heard plenty of stories about her during my youth. Started to learn about her in depth as a teenager, and now we sort of hit this discovery zone now as an adult. And now her story's become a feature film that's been adapted off the book that was written by Tanya Bolden.
Uh, Go back. I mentioned that you wore a lot of different hats. You jumped right in on Sarah. Tell
Well,
our
that's what you
audience
brought
some
up.
of the
That's what you
hats.
said I was here for. You
Yeah,
said I was on
right.
for that. You said I was on for that.
I want my audience to know a little bit more about you. Like I said, I have known you for a
Yeah,
long
I've been
time,
around. Been
and
around. I've
I
been
never
around.
knew.
Been working.
Yeah, but I never knew you had these other hats that you
Oh
wore.
no, for a
Uh,
long time. No. For a long time. I mean, like when I was a little kid, when I was like 7, 8, 9 years old, that's I knew I wanted to be a filmmaker. I purchased my first Super 8 millimeter camera and started making home movies. Back when I was in my single digits, and then all through middle school, high school, you know, had a team of us. We shot film, created our own movies. Back in the day, and then that's when the NAACP had this academic program called AXO. When I was in high school, I competed in that all
tell
4 years.
audience what years that was so they can picture.
That'd been late 80s,
Because
man.
the
It was hard.
internet was brand new.
Now the internet did not exist in the 80s.
Right,
No, there was no
that's what I'm
internet yet.
saying. And you were doing these things in forward thinking. Nobody
No,
was
yeah,
doing that.
well, I mean, I had help. I mean, like my mom took us to the movies all the time, so I was inspired by what I saw on the big screen, and so I was intrigued. And so, you had to learn things the hard way back in the day. You had to actually like take your butt to the library and check out books. So I checked out all these books on how movies are made, and then kind of like taught myself the process. And then that's when I went out and bought the Super 8 millimeter camera and started shooting. We didn't have iPhones back then, and you couldn't shoot unlimited stuff or take unlimited photos back in the day. We had to shoot our stuff on film, on Super 8 millimeter film. Like you go to the camera store, you buy the film, you put the cartridge in the camera, and you shoot. And then when the film cartridge runs out, you take the cartridge back to the camera store. The camera store sends the cartridge to the lab in Chicago, and a few weeks later, you get it back to see what you shot. You had to have skill back then because you couldn't shoot like now. You can take a video, erase it, and do it again, do it again. Now you one shot at it. When we're
Sean,
shooting these movies and stuff.
did you ever have a dark room yourself for photos? Or
No, no, no. But
did
I
you
took
learn how
no.
to
I didn't. I
do
didn't.
any of that?
No, I did. I didn't have my own personal darkroom, but I took photography and advanced photography at Lincoln College Prep, and they
Oh,
had an immaculate darkroom. I still remember the teacher, Mrs. Lynn. Yeah, I was incredible. It was an incredible class. I love photography. I was good at it. Matter of fact, I have a couple pictures I took back in high school that are framed in my house right now, from back in the day. So I was incredible. I was deeply into photography. I was deeply into filmmaking. Like I said, I competed in AXO, the academic competition. They had 24 categories. One of the categories was filmmaking, and won national a couple of times. And then when I went to Morehouse, I studied communication. I studied film with the same teachers that Spike Lee had. So I mean, I've been into the film thing, actual creation of film, the making of film, filmmaking, since day one. Now my minor was in journalism because I also love to write, and then you just don't know what door is going to open first. When you're done with school and you're jumping out into the real world looking for work. But it just so happened that one of my first jobs was at a newspaper, so then I kind of took the writing path, first. But
Which paper?
well, when I came home from school, from college, when I was at Morehouse College, I would come home in the summertime. I didn't want to work at, no disrespect. I didn't want to work at McDonald's. I didn't want to work at Burger. I didn't want to do any of that. And so I just walked into the offices of the Kansas City Globe, which is a, black newspaper. And I showed them some clips from when I wrote at the Morehouse newspaper, and I also wrote for the Clark newspaper, and just said, do y'all need some help? I can help y'all do this. I can write, do that. And they was like, cool, you can do it. And, they paid me for it. So that was my summer job at the Kansas City Globe newspaper. So that's technically where I got my start, was at the Kansas City Globe.
Yeah. So,
I just walked in. That's every, I don't think I've ever filled out a job application. I just, like, I either walked in, or people like, we want you. Like, I mean, I've been really fortunate on that front.
so Shawn, when you are evaluating these films, you have all of that background. Do you put that into?
100%. That's why I tell people. Like, a lot of people ask, like, how did I get started in this? I mean, I'm trained. I'm trained. I studied. I've been studying film for a really long time. I had some of the best teachers, on the planet. Like some of the best writing teachers, some of the best cinematography teachers, some of the best teachers in general. I mean, this is something I've been working at, like I said, since I was in my single digits. I've technically been studying film since I was 5 or 6 years old. This is not anything that's new. Like, I've been taking deep dives on this, like, for a really long time.
Let's go back to uh, Rector, and I had talked to you off camera about House on 12th and
12th and Euclid.
right. Talk a little bit about what you know about that connection.
I know about everything. I mean, what do you mean? Where do you
Well,
want me to start?
to our audience, not to tell
No, but what do you want me? What do you mean connection? What are you talking about? What do you want me to
that
start?
that was the one of her property, or she lived there. Uh, what what do you know about it? You know
I know
everything
everything
about
about it.
all
That's
this.
what I'm asking you. I know everything about it. Where do you want me to start? Hey, where do you want me to
Where
start?
you start? Just I don't
Well,
know anything except for that.
well, no. It
That was
start. It
her
starts. It,
place.
well, it starts way. It starts way before that. It starts with the United States government.
All right.
Yeah, none of this happens without the evilness of the United States government and their treatment or mistreatment of Native Americans. But unbeknownst to a lot of people, during the era of slavery, there were some Native American tribes who had slaves. And one of those tribes was the Creek Nation. The Creek Nation had slaves, which means they owned black folks as property. The black folks that these Creek Nations own happen to be, my ancestors. So, they were primarily located in Alabama. But as you know, Native Americans were often kicked off their native land because the U.S. government wanted it and took it, and often slaughtered them in order to get that land. So the Creek Nation, they were kicked off their land and they were relocated to Oklahoma. And as you know, the white man doesn't give you anything. He gave them crappy land. It wasn't suitable for agriculture. It wasn't suitable for building. It was rocky. It was nasty. It was dirty. It was horrible land. And so they relocated the Native Americans to Oklahoma, and they made a deal that they would give each person a certain parcel of land. I believe it was like 160 acres, something like that. It was a parcel of land that each person that was relocated got. But they also made a deal that the black slaves that they owned also got land as well. So that was my family members. So my family members all each got a parcel of land. My great grandfather, my great grandmother, and their siblings, all got land. That was part of the deal. But it was crappy land. It was terrible land. They still had to pay taxes on the land. A lot of times, the people that got the land couldn't afford to pay the taxes. I mean, you know how the story goes. I mean, it's been repeating itself even through
And not
today.
just here, the British, when they
Everybody, yeah, but
broke
let's
up
keep it. Yeah, but let's
Arabia,
keep it
gave
simple.
them
Let's
all
keep
the,
it. Don't you expand it too far. You got. Let's just
yeah, I was
focus on.
saying the
Let's focus
desert,
on this.
the
Yeah,
crappy land, and
yeah,
then you
yeah. Let's focus.
find
Yeah,
value
yeah, yeah,
on it. That's
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
point I was making.
So yeah, yeah. But my great grandfather and my great grandmother, Joseph and Rose Rector, I mean, they were smart about their hustle, and they knew they couldn't afford to pay taxes on all those different parcels of land, and so he ended up leasing instead of selling the land, so he could still retain some ownership. He ended up leasing the land because oil companies started sniffing around because they had discovered oil close by, and so they figured if it was oil over here and oil over there, there had to be oil right here, and so he ended up doing some lease deals, and it just so happens that the parcel of land that Sarah owned, they hit a gusher, an unbelievable gusher that made her incredibly rich, although they robbed her blind because she only got like she should have been richer than the Queen of England, but she only got like a small percentage. Somebody white somewhere, they made the majority of the money off the oil. But even with her small percentages that they gave her based off the lease deal, it instantly made her the richest black person. I don't know. They say she was the richest black person or the richest black woman in America at
That's what
the
I was
age of
hearing.
11. At the age of 11. I mean, you technically don't know. I mean, there's, record keeping is not the same as it back then as it is now, but she did make an incredible amount of money. And you got to remember, this is back in the in the early 1900s. I mean, to put it in perspective, a well-paid lawyer back then made $3,000 a year, and she's got millions of dollars in the bank. So she made all this money, but it's extremely dangerous because they want once white people discover stuff, they want to take it, especially when it's profitable. And a lot of blacks who had oil discovered on their land down in Oklahoma, like Muskogee Taft area, they were murdered because the white people wanted their rights, and so it was a really dangerous situation, and that ultimately led to to the family relocating to Kansas City, Missouri. At the time, in the 1920s, Kansas City, Missouri was the New York of the Midwest. And so it made sense that they would go there. It's also believed that there was enough of a black infrastructure in Kansas City that could, create a so-called safety net to where it wouldn't be as dangerous because, it was widely publicized. I mean, I joke and say she was one of the first people in the history of the world to go viral because once they discovered the oil on the land, and she became an instant millionaire at age 11. There were stories written about her all over the world, and so people knew who she was. They knew how much money she had. It's a very dangerous situation, but I do believe they came to Kansas City to find refuge, and so if you put two and two together, it would have been the perfect relocation move because it would put you in an ability to blend into a larger African American population. It's probably a situation
I
where
didn't
you would
know
know.
how dangerous it was.
Oh, it's super dangerous. Yeah, they were
I
murdering
had
people for the
mentioned to
land.
somebody I was going to have you on tonight, and they asked me, "Did I see this something moon uh, picture about the Indians and how they came
The
and
Martin
took?"
Scorsese movie that came out 2 years ago,
Yeah, and I
Killers of the
said
Flower
I
Moon.
looked at it, but it got so dangerous, I had to leave. They were
Well, they
doing
even
them.
downplay. Well, that's what I'm saying. They downplayed that. That's where they killed the Native Americans who had oil. I mean, because this is a ruthless country. It's a ruthless country, and so yeah, that movie sort of documented the dangers. This new movie documented the dangers. It was a
But
very
now
dangerous.
you like you said, where I want you to start. Now I see how they got on 12th Street or got in Kansas City, and why?
Yeah, it was a refuge. I mean, it had to be a refuge, and it also allowed her probably create a network of, because you would have to hire a network of bodyguards or strongmen to protect her, because everybody knew who she was. They knew where she lived. They knew how much money she's worth. She had kids, and you don't want anybody to kidnap your kids for ransom or break into your house and steal your stuff. So it probably, the money sounds like it would have been fun, but it probably weighed very heavy on her, which is why
Headache.
she died at an early age.
I want to switch gears. Let's talk about the Boone Theater. Where we at?
Right now we're in the middle. Right now we're in the middle of construction. So the Boone Theater project, it's a project we've been working on since 2022. The Boone Theater was built in 1924, so it's a little over 100 years old. It was originally a movie theater. Then they did a little bit of vaudeville in there. Then they turned it into sort of like a dinner house, and then it went vacant. And then the U.S. government bought it and turned it into an armory. And then they vacated the building in 1970 something. So it's been empty for multiple decades. But thankfully, when the U.S. government took over the building, like they shored up all the steel, they put a new concrete floor on it, they put a new roof on it, so it was sealed up really tight. So there wasn't a lot of water damage or heat and wind damage to the building. So the building was in pretty good condition. So we purchased the building in 2022. We raised a total of $10.2 million for construction. We that money's in the bank. We broke ground on October the 17th. Right now, it's still on time. It's still on budget and scheduled to be completed the end of December.
All right.
Yeah,
Um,
it's going very well. I mean, and it's going to be an incredible building. It's going to be an event space. We're also putting a movie theater in there. There's going to be some micro studios, a podcast studio, a couple production studios. There'll be a full functioning kitchen in there, for events, and then of course it's going to house the Black Movie Hall of Fame. And so that's what we're really excited about. That the Black Movie Hall of Fame is an incredible opportunity to sort of create this really cool Black history corridor in the 18th and Vine Historic Jazz District, because now you'll have the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, the American Jazz Museum, and now the Black Movie Hall of Fame. I can't think of any city in the world that has that. That it's like the Bermuda Triangle of Black history. Like it's an incredible opportunity, it's an incredible opportunity for the city of Kansas City. It's going to be great. Also, for the first time in a long time, people will be able to watch movies, on the east side in the middle of the city, which you currently cannot do anywhere, which is sad and unfortunate. So we're going to bring that back. We're going to show some first run movies. We're going to show some classic movies. Like we're going to do that all the time. We're going to be showing movies all the time. We're going to have a couple of film festivals. One of the first film festivals we're going to have in the Boone Theaters, we're going to have a World Cup film festival. So we're going to show like these classic soccer films to get people ready for the World Cup. So that's going to be amazing. I know the Soul of Santa is going to have a holiday film festival in December. And then, of course, we always do the Juneteenth Film Festival. So that's going to be dope. So we already got 2 or 3 film festivals planned for the building. And then we're going to have the opening gala on Saturday, February 28th. That's going to be incredible. We're going to induct our first class of people into the Black Movie Hall of Fame. So that's going to be a very, very, very special and prestigious night. And we just put out an article 2 days ago where the Black Movie Hall of Fame did this list of the 100 best Black movies ever. So if you go to blackmoviehalloffame.com, check that out. We talked to more than 50 Black film critics. They all weighed in. We came up with this list of 100, and it's pretty dope. If you get a chance, check that out.
all right. I think that's a mouthful. And as we close the show, uh, do you have any closing words
No,
for?
just go support Sarah's Oil. It's an incredible movie. It's really inspiring. It's also very entertaining, but it sets the record straight, because right now when you Google Sarah Rector, None of those pictures are actually hers. All the information is mostly incorrect. So, this is our chance to actually, get the record straight and talk about what actually happened, how it happened. And I'm really thankful to, MGM and Amazon. It's a major motion picture. So it's a big deal. Go and support it theatrically. We need more films about the Black experience. They won't happen unless the current films are successful. So, go out and support it. It's connected to Kansas City. It's a Kansas City story without a doubt. This just deals with her when she's 11, but hopefully there'll be another Sarah Rector movie that talks about her as an adult where she really did some incredible things, because she really did utilize the money and try to do some good things in the community and in the city. And it was tough as a Black woman in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, as we all know. But I mean, she fought the fault and tried her best. And so that's another story and another angle that we definitely need to explore.
What I would say to our audience,
Support the movie, baby. Just
right.
do like y'all did with Sinners. Do what y'all did with Sinners was amazing. Do the exact same thing.
What I'm suggesting, because how Shawn is on the show tonight, I saw the promo. He talked about he had posted some things. I saw the promo and it was dynamite. That little girl in that promo,
Oh, she's great.
I felt it's going to be a hit from what
Oh, she's great. She's great.
what I seen. It might be. I only seen a little bit. I was thinking Sounder. I was thinking that movie, The Color Purple. I was, but all I seen was that piece, that little piece, and the cinematography was great.
Good. It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
In that piece.
Yeah.
What I will try to do on this interview is put the link to.
Put the trailer. Play the trailer while I'm talking. Nobody want to see me. Play the trailer while I'm talking.
Not a problem. So, as we always say in closing, when you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. Good night.
This is brought to you by Kansas City Business Association, working to improve our community.